Hi, everybody. How are you guys doing this evening? Good. Well, my name is Dr. Bindia Gandhi. I'm an integrative and functional medicine doctor, double boarded in family medicine and integrative medicine. And I am really excited to talk to you about the menopause reset. So, how many of you have felt like your body has betrayed you? Yes, me too. So you're eating well, you're exercising, you're doing all the things that you're supposed to be doing, but yet you feel like the scale is going up, your energy is disappearing, you have some brain fog, and let me guess, your sleep is off, and somehow you don't even recognize the person in the mirror anymore, right? Sound familiar? Me too. Unfortunately, I know that feeling too well because before I was the doctor on this stage, I too was feeling the same thing. Okay? I unfortunately was the patient. In residency, I was doing everything right. I was eating well, I was exercising, I was meditating, I was doing all the things that I knew. I was educated, for goodness sakes. And yet, I kept gaining weight. I was exhausted all the time. I had debilitating brain fog. My body was inflamed. I had a rash on my face that would not go away. Okay. I had irregular menstrual cycles. I had chronic migraines, and I didn't feel like myself anymore. And the worst part, nobody could explain what was going on with me. All right, yes, so I totally understand where you guys are coming from. And as a future young physician doctor, that was extremely terrifying. Because if I couldn't figure out what was going on with my body and my health, how many other women were silently struggling too? I started getting told things like, your labs are normal. You might just be stressed out. You need to exercise more. You need to stop eating. You need to get more sleep. But deep down, I knew something was wrong. And eventually, I discovered the truth. I had undiagnosed autoimmune condition called celiac, severe nutritional deficiencies, a thyroid that was not functioning well anymore, and a lot of inflammation. My body was not failing me. It was actually trying to survive. And that experience completely changed the way I practice medicine today. Because I realize that so many women are walking around blaming themselves. And in reality, their body is really screaming for help. And this becomes more common, unfortunately, during the perimenopause and menopause years. So your metabolism didn't just stop working, it just changed, right? And most women think that we need to do more exercise, we need to do more cardio, we need to be more disciplined. But female metabolism is actually driven by a lot of signals. And the signals are what's really important. Our body is constantly changing. Our hormones are constantly changing. But your body is asking, am I safe? Because if your body is dealing with poor sleep, if you have chronic inflammation, if your blood sugars are not controlled, if you have hormonal instability, guess what? Your body is getting the message that you are unsafe. And do you know what that means? That means that you can be doing everything right, and yet nothing is working out like it should for you. When we have an unsafe body, we're holding on to fat. We're actually conserving more energy. Our metabolism has slowed down. We are gaining weight. And guess what? We are eating the sugar that we know we should not be eating. So, what does that mean? What does that mean we should be doing? Right? Does that mean we need to eat less? We need to exercise more, try harder? No, because that stuff we've done, and it's not working, right? So why would you continue to do the same thing if it's not working, right? That is what the definition of insanity is, right? So this is why we have to come up with a different conversation, and we have to look at, why do you want to be healthy? Before we get into that, I wanted to share a patient of mine. Her name is Vicky, and how I helped her change her life over the years. Vicky is one of my early patients, actually before COVID, and she worked with me and she did one of our programs, and she lost a lot of weight. She lost actually 40 pounds during one of our programs. Her digestive systems improved. She was no longer taking anti-inflammatory medications. We decreased her overall medication. But the biggest thing that she probably says is that she hasn't had a hot flash in forever. You have to remember that you are not lazy. You're just feeling a little stuck. You are not broken. And your body is asking for a different approach, just like what Vicky was asking for. What is your why? My kids here, you'll see them in the audience running around here today. They are my why. They are the reasons why I want to be healthy. I want to be there for their graduation. I want to be there for their wedding. I, in fact, want to be there for my grandkids and maybe my great-grandkids. So that is the reason why I want to stay healthy, right? But who also depends on you? Not only do they depend on me, but my parents and my in-laws also depend on me, because as we age, we have people relying on us. But you can't take care of yourself. You can't take care of others, unless you're taking care of yourself, right? You have to remember to make yourself a priority. And often, because we're mothers and we're doing so much for other people, we're not doing enough for ourselves. And this needs to be something that you have to figure out. What is your why, and who depends on you? Who do you want to depend on you? Because I'm going to tell you, when I'm 99, I want to depend on myself. I don't want to depend on anyone else. I want to be as functional today as I am when I'm going to be 102, okay? And that is really important. So I'm going to take care of myself today. Everyone wants to know about GLP-1. You guys all stopped me earlier, and you're asking me about GLP-1. So let's talk about GLP-1. They can absolutely be super powerful tools. I love them. They can be very, very helpful. I've seen a lot of positive impact on GLP-1s from a lot of my patients. They lose a lot of weight. We see A1C improve. We see cholesterol come down, fatty liver improve, sleep apnea improve. The list goes on and on. They are powerful tools. But there are some things about GLP-1s that also concern me, right? People think that they're magic, and they're not, right? If we don't preserve the muscle, if we don't support your hormones, optimize your protein, and heal the gut, and regulate the stress, which we'll talk about, your metabolism will never really heal. Because often I see women regain the weight back when they stop GLP-1. So if you never learn how to fix your metabolism, guess what's going to happen? You stop that GLP-1 and you're going to gain that weight back. The goal is not just about weight loss. The goal is about being metabolic resistance. Now, let's talk about gut health. I love gut health. I can talk about gut health forever, right? There's this one enzyme called beta-glucuronidase, and when it becomes elevated, we tend to see that you are not recycling estrogen properly. And what does that mean? That means you might have some bloating, you might have some breast tenderness, irregular cycles, you might have fibroids for some women, you might have stubborn weight gain, some inflammation, and so much more. You're just not feeling yourself, right? And so we want to know what's happening. Sometimes the problem is not that your hormones are low, it's just that they're not processing properly, and we need to be aware of that, right? Let's talk about what normal is when it comes to labs, because I was just talking to a few women today about this, especially thyroid. When we tell you what's normal, or not just me, sorry, traditional, conventional medical doctors, your primary care doctor, what they're doing is they're taking healthy individuals and unhealthy individuals, they're putting it in a pot and giving you the average and telling you that you're normal. But let me tell you something. I don't want to be compared to the average Joe. I want to be compared to the healthiest of the healthiest individuals. Do you understand that? I don't know about you, but I want to be compared to not sick people. I want to be compared to really optimal, healthy people. So when your doctor tells you your labs are normal, are they really? Okay, I'm going to tell you a quick story about my mom, okay? So for so many years, my mom was the perfect patient. She would go year after year to get her physical. And she would always say, I don't feel good. I'm gaining weight. I'm tired. I have low energy, you know. And the doctor says, oh, you're probably in menopause. You're depressed. Your kids are out of the house. Let's put you on an antidepressant and have a good life, right? So, of course, she does what any good patient does. She takes that medication, right? The antidepressant medication. Well, about 11 years ago, after I got married, she calls me and said, Bindia, I'm now on thyroid medication. And I said, Mom, what are you talking about? Why are you on thyroid medication? She goes, oh, the doctor told me I have to take thyroid medication. I go, okay, so what was your TSH? Her TSH at the time was 7.6. 7.6. That's high. So, of course, I said, Mom, what was your TSH the year before? Of course, she didn't know. So, as a good doctor, good daughter, I requested all her labs from her doctor, and got it. And I had seen the record for the last 5 years of her thyroid function. Her thyroid was slowly getting worse, and her doctor did not do anything until it was in the red. Your TSH should be between 1 and 2, and her TSH was 7.6 before her doctor did anything about it. By that time, her thyroid was burnt out, and she actually needed the medication. Had we done something about her thyroid when it was, 2.1, we could have probably reversed it, and she could have probably been functioning without medication at this point. But this is why this is so important, and why I want to highlight that you need to understand what really normal means and what optimal means. Because I don't want normal. I want optimal, and I want optimal for you. This is why I've worked hard at developing the Menopause Metabolism Reset. And it's a 4-frame protocol that really helps women reset their health. First, we have to talk about resetting our metabolism. That means we got to support our blood sugars. We got to make sure that we're prioritizing protein and preserving our muscle mass. Muscle is our metabolic currency. What does that mean? That means when we are 99, the only way that we're going to stay healthy is because we have muscle. If we do not have muscle, guess what? We're going to have something called sarcopenia. We're going to age faster. We're going to break a hip. We're going to break some bones, and we're going to die. So we need to make sure that we are preserving our metabolism, but more importantly, our muscle. Second thing, we need to balance our hormones. Hormones are really important, and we need to not guess. We need to test. I am a big lab data girl, and I want to test. I want to know what your body needs, because when I know what your body needs, I can fix that. I can't guess. I want to know what your body absolutely needs. Third, we have to work on healing your gut. This is probably the most important thing that you can do. We have to decrease inflammation. We have to support your microbiome. We need to make sure we're improving your detoxification pathways, where you're having a bowel movement 1 to 2 times a day. We need to make sure we're feeding your GLP-1 naturally and producing that naturally by making sure you're getting polyphenols and making sure that you're getting fiber in your diet. These are very, very important, because eventually some of you who may want to come off of GLP-1, your question is, how can I maintain my metabolism without the GLP-1? It goes back to the gut. And lastly, we have to regulate your nervous system, because I can't heal you. You can't heal yourself if your body is stressed. A stressed body will not heal. And what does that mean? Maybe that means we're incorporating meditation, we're sleeping better. We are walking. We're doing some breath work, yoga. We have to figure out what resonates with us so we can really heal and regulate our nervous system. Maybe that means we're going into past trauma, but we have to heal the nervous system. I want to share this with you because a lot of times many of you in here tell me that you are doing all the things that I'm talking about. You know, you're taking your probiotics and you're doing your exercise, eating well. Maybe you've started hormones, but you're still not feeling well. Well, I know you want results, but it's about doing these things in the right way, in the right order. A stressed body will not heal, and 94% of the time you fail, it's because it's not that you don't have a system. What you really need is you need accountability. You need a coach. You need to be doing things in the right order, and you need the right system. When you don't have these things this way, you often will not get the results. And this is why you have to have someone to work with, whether it's myself or a team or a guide. I always use the analogy of if you want to learn how to fly a plane, right? Well, we can go on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube and, you know, we can watch all these videos. But do you actually learn how to fly a plane? You may theoretically learn everything about it, but unless you physically do it, I wouldn't want to be in a plane with you. Just saying, right? So you need to have someone who's guiding you, holding your hand, showing you the way, and troubleshooting along the way, right? That's what's really important. Sometimes we might know what to do, but we can't do it on our own. And that's where you have to have a team approach. You have to have a guide, and you have to have someone who's able to walk you through. A lot of my patients think that getting old is normal. Oh, well, I'm getting old, so of course I should feel tired and fatigued, right? No. We don't have to accept that, right? Just because your mom felt that way, your grandmother felt that way, doesn't mean that you need to feel that way, right? And a lot of times, you're exhausted. I hear you, right? You're inflamed, and many of you are not eating right. Maybe you don't understand, and maybe you didn't know that you were not eating right. You're not sleeping, and your hormones are off, and you're afraid to take hormones, or you've heard horrible things about hormone replacement therapy. But let me tell you, once we address the root cause, our patient's energy comes back. Your weight starts moving in the right direction. Your brain fog has improved. And more importantly, you will start feeling like yourself again. This is my favorite proverb, Chinese proverb, and I actually remember this from medical school very well. Tell me, and I may remember. Show me, and I will remember. But involve me, and I will understand. When you can master something, teach it to somebody else, that means you've got it, right? You can do it all day long, but until you can teach it and really embrace it, you know, it's really hard to understand how to heal yourself. Women deserve better than being told that everything is normal, right? Your body is not broken, and you don't need to starve yourself. You don't need to shame yourself. You don't need to hate yourself. You need a strategy, and you need someone who can help you understand your hormones, your metabolism, inflammation, the female body, and stress. And I truly believe women deserve better than being told that everything is normal, even when they feel like everything is but normal, right? The next step is not about doing something that is harder, right? You have to find the right support along the way. And women, stop sabotaging yourself. We are all guilty of this. We will make 1,000,001 excuses as to why we are not ready, right? Maybe we're afraid of rejection. Maybe we're making excuses. Maybe we're putting ourselves last. Does this sound like you? We have faulty thinking. Maybe it's overthinking. Maybe you have no time. We will make 1,000,001 excuses as to why, and we have to learn to make the right decision now. We need to stop procrastinating. You have to remember that you have control over your health and your body. Nobody can make you feel better but you. This is why my team and I are in booth, I don't know what booth number we're in. We're like booth 100 at, Revive Atlanta MD. Come see us. And we're offering free 15-minute discovery calls. this weekend, and we're also offering $100 off our new patient consultation. So what we want to do is learn more about you, understand your symptoms, identify your root cause, and understand your goals, and ultimately see how we can help you out on your health and wellness journey. So if this talk resonated with you, come visit our booth. You can scan the QR code and see how we can support you on your health and wellness journey, because we would truly love to support you, not just today. It might be 5 years from now, it might be 10 years from now. We really want to make sure that you are taken care of as female. Because we know, honestly, when women heal, everything really changes because we take care of everybody. So we need to learn to take care of ourselves. Thank you, guys.